Every single one of us in this room knows what pain feels like. Some of you walked in here smiling, but carrying battles nobody else can see. Some of you have been doubted, lied to, betrayed, overlooked. Some of you gave your best and still got rejected. You prayed, you tried, you sacrificed, and life still hit you hard. But hear me clearly tonight. Your pain is not your weakness. It is your power. See, most people waste their pain. They let it turn into bitterness. They let it become excuses. They wear it like chains instead of using it like fuel. They replay the hurt over and over until it becomes their identity. But champions, leaders, history makers, they do something different. They take that pain and they convert it. They turn rejection into redirection. They turn heartbreak into hunger. They turn failure into focus. The very thing that was meant to break you can build you if you decide to use it. Because pain does something comfort never will. Pain exposes who you really are. Pain strips away ego. Pain forces you to grow. Pain teaches you discipline. And discipline, not motivation, is what changes your life. You think the strongest people you admire had it easy? No, they just refused to waste their suffering. They understood that pressure creates diamonds, fire refines gold, and resistance builds muscle. Your setbacks are setting you up. That sleepless night, that disappointment, that loss, that moment when you thought you couldn't take one more step, that's where your power is hiding. But here's the truth nobody likes to hear. Pain alone won't transform you. It's what you do with it. You can let it destroy you, or you can let it define your drive. You can sit in the darkness, or you can build in it. Some of you are waiting for life to get easier. Stop waiting. Life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. And strength is born when you refuse to quit in the middle of your storm. Your scars are proof that you survived. Your struggle is proof that you're growing. Your pain is proof that you're being prepared for something bigger than you could see right now. So don't waste it. Use it. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it deepen your character. Let it strengthen your faith. Let it push you when you don't feel like moving. Because one day, the very thing that hurt you will be the reason you help someone else rise. And when that day comes, you'll look back at your darkest season and realize it was the foundation of your greatest strength. Pain is not punishment. It is preparation. That's a mindset shift that changes everything. Most people experience hardship and immediately ask, why is this happening to me? They see struggle as a sign that they've done something wrong, that life is being unfair, that they're somehow cursed or unlucky. But what if the very thing you're calling punishment is actually preparation? What if the delay, the rejection, the setback, the closed door is not there to stop you, but to shape you? Think about it. Nothing valuable is built without pressure. Muscles grow by tearing. Steel is strengthened by fire. Diamonds are formed under extreme weight. Yet when life applies pressure to us, we assume something is wrong. We forget that growth is uncomfortable by nature. Preparation is rarely pleasant. It stretches you. It exposes your weaknesses. It forces you to confront habits, fears, and excuses you've been avoiding. When you lose something important, you learn resilience. When you fail publicly, you learn humility. When you're rejected, you learn to build confidence from within instead of seeking validation from the outside. These lessons don't feel good in the moment, but they are equipping you with tools you will desperately need at the next level of your life. Preparation always comes before promotion. You don't step into greater responsibility without first being tested. You don't handle success properly without first learning discipline in obscurity. The struggles you face today are strengthening the muscles you will rely on tomorrow. The heartbreak is teaching emotional maturity. The financial difficulty is teaching resourcefulness. The loneliness is teaching independence. Every challenge carries a hidden curriculum. The problem is not the pain. The problem is misinterpreting it. When you see pain as punishment, you shrink. You complain. You become bitter. You quit too early. But when you see pain as preparation, you lean in. You ask better questions. Instead of why me, you ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of this is unfair, you say, this is building me. Life does not waste experiences. Every setback contains strength if you are willing to extract it. The delay is building patience. The struggle is building endurance. The criticism is building thick skin. The silence is building clarity. And clarity is power. Preparation is rarely comfortable, but it is always purposeful. The storm is shaping your stability. The pressure is deepening your capacity. The challenge is expanding your character. And one day, when you step into an opportunity that requires strength you didn't even know you had, you'll realize that nothing you went through was random. It was training for the life you're becoming. Ready to lead. Struggle builds strength that comfort never could. That's not just a motivational phrase. It's a law of growth. Comfort feels good, but it keeps you the same. Struggle feels uncomfortable, but it forces you to evolve. When everything is easy, you don't stretch. You don't adapt. You don't dig deep. You stay where you are because there's no reason to move beyond it. But the moment life gets hard, something inside you is activated. Think about the strongest version of yourself. It wasn't created during a vacation. It wasn't developed when everything was going your way. It was built during the nights you felt like quitting, but didn't. It was built when you had to show up tired, disappointed, doubted, and still give effort. Struggle demands more from you. It demands creativity when resources are low. It demands courage when fear is loud. It demands discipline when motivation disappears. Comfort will never teach you resilience. Comfort will never show you how much you can endure. Comfort will never reveal your true capacity. It's easy to be confident when you're winning. It's easy to smile when doors are opening. But when rejection hits, when failure humbles you, when plans collapse, that's when character is forged. That's when your foundation is tested. Every challenge forces adaptation. When you struggle financially, you learn strategy. When you struggle emotionally, you learn self-control. When you struggle professionally, you learn skill development. You're forced to grow because staying the same is no longer an option. Struggle stretches your mindset. It breaks limitations you didn't even realize you had. It removes dependency on external validation and teaches you internal strength. And here's the truth. Strength developed in struggle lasts longer than confidence built in comfort. When you earn your progress through hardship, you value it differently. You protect it differently. You respect it differently. The person who has fought for their growth doesn't panic when pressure returns because they've survived worse. They've built endurance. They've trained their mind to stay steady when circumstances shake. Struggle also teaches perspective. It humbles you. It reminds you that nothing is guaranteed and everything requires effort. That awareness creates gratitude, and gratitude strengthens resilience. You begin to see obstacles as training sessions rather than roadblocks. The very resistance you want removed is often the reason you're becoming stronger. The weight is heavy, so your capacity increases. The hill is steep, so your endurance expands. The process is slow, so your patience deepens. Comfort may feel safe, but struggle makes you powerful. It sharpens you. It refines you. It forces you to confront weaknesses and transform them into strengths. And when you finally rise, you won't just be successful. You'll be solid, grounded, and unshakable because you were built by pressure, not pampered by ease. Your story gives you authority and purpose. Not the polished version, not the highlight reel. The real story. The mistakes. The setbacks. The moments you almost gave up. That's where your authority is born. People don't connect to perfection. They connect to authenticity. They don't follow titles. They follow testimony. And the battles you fought quietly are building a voice that carries weight. Authority doesn't come from talking the loudest. It comes from living through something and surviving it. When you've experienced loss, your words about healing carry depth. When you've experienced failure, your advice about persistence carries credibility. When you felt doubt but kept going anyway, your encouragement feels real. Your pain gives you insight. Your struggle gives you perspective. And perspective gives you power. Too many people try to hide their story. They're embarrassed by it, ashamed of it. They wish they could rewrite it. But the very chapters you want to erase are the ones that will empower someone else. The rejection you endured gives you empathy. The obstacles you faced give you wisdom. The nights you cried give you compassion. Your experiences become tools, not just for your growth, but for someone else's guidance. Purpose is often discovered in what you had to overcome. The areas where you were tested the most are usually the areas where you can serve the most. If you struggled with confidence and built it brick by brick, you now understand the journey better than someone who never had to fight for it. If you grew up with limited resources and learned resilience, you carry lessons that can inspire others in similar situations. Your story becomes a bridge. It connects your past pain to someone else's present struggle. And here's the deeper truth. When you own your story, you stop being controlled by it. Instead of being defined by what happened to you, you redefine what it means. You shift from victim to victor. You stop asking why it happened and start asking how it shaped you. That shift builds internal authority. It builds confidence rooted in experience, not ego. People are searching for voices that understand them. They're looking for proof that overcoming is possible. Your journey becomes evidence. It becomes a reminder that resilience is real, that growth is possible, that setbacks are survivable. When you speak from lived experience, there's conviction in your tone. There's substance behind your words. Your story is not random. It's not wasted. It's not meaningless. Every chapter, even the painful ones, is contributing to the message you carry. And when you step into your purpose fully, you'll realize that the authority you were searching for was being built quietly through every challenge you survived, every lesson you learned, and every obstacle you refused to let define your future. Discipline turns emotional pain into productive power. Pain by itself is just energy. It's raw. It's intense. It can either explode in destructive ways or be redirected into something transformative. The difference is discipline. Without discipline, pain becomes anger, distraction, self-doubt, or excuses. With discipline, that same pain becomes focus, drive, and execution. When you feel hurt, rejected, overlooked, or betrayed, there's a surge of emotion. Your heart beats faster. Your thoughts race. You replay the situation again and again. Most people sit in that emotion. They talk about it. They complain about it. They let it drain them. But discipline steps in and says, channel it. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond intentionally. Instead of proving people wrong with words, you prove them wrong with work. Discipline doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you refuse to let feelings control your direction. It means you wake up and train when you don't feel motivated. It means you study when you'd rather scroll. It means you build when you'd rather blame. Emotional pain can either scatter your focus or sharpen it. Discipline decides which one happens. There is power in routine. When your emotions are unstable, structure stabilizes you. Showing up consistently, even when your mood shifts, builds momentum. And momentum builds confidence. The more you act despite how you feel, the more control you gain over your life. You begin to understand that emotions are temporary, but habits create permanence. Pain often creates urgency. It makes you want change immediately. But discipline understands timing. It understands patience. It understands that real transformation is built daily, not overnight. You don't turn heartbreak into success in a week. You don't turn rejection into mastery in a month. You commit to the process. You commit to small, consistent actions that compound over time. This is where many people miss it. They want inspiration to carry them through pain. Inspiration fades. Discipline remains. Discipline is what keeps you training after the motivation speech ends. It's what keeps you focused when no one is watching. It's what keeps you silent and steady when distractions try to pull you off course. When you discipline your response to pain, you build emotional maturity. You stop reacting to every setback. You stop needing validation. You stop wasting energy trying to be understood by people who were never meant to understand you. Instead, you pour that energy into growth, into skill, into progress. The pain becomes fuel. The rejection becomes drive. The disappointment becomes determination. But only because you decided to structure your energy instead of scattering it. Discipline transforms emotional intensity into productive output. It takes what could have broken you and uses it to build you stronger, sharper, and more focused than you've ever been. Greatness is forged in adversity, not ease. Nobody drifts into greatness. Nobody accidentally becomes exceptional. The path to greatness is carved through resistance, through pressure, through moments that test your endurance and expose your limits. Ease may feel comfortable, but it does not demand growth. Adversity does. When life is smooth, you operate at the surface level of your potential. You do what's required, nothing more. But when adversity hits, when the odds are against you, when the doors close, when the pressure rises, something deeper is required. You are forced to dig beneath convenience and comfort. You are forced to access strength you didn't know you had. Adversity reveals character. It shows you who you are when circumstances are not in your favor. Anyone can be positive when they're winning. Anyone can be confident when everything is aligned. But when challenges stack up and excuses become available, your response defines you. Do you fold? Or do you fight forward? Do you complain? Or do you commit? Every great individual has a story of adversity behind their success. Not because struggle guarantees greatness, but because overcoming struggle develops the traits greatness requires. Resilience, patience, focus, courage, adaptability. These qualities are not learned in comfort. They're sharpened in conflict. Adversity teaches you to think differently. When a usual path is blocked, you innovate. When support is limited, you become self-reliant. When failure humbles you, you become teachable. These lessons are not comfortable, but they are invaluable. They prepare you for levels of responsibility and influence that comfort could never equip you to handle. There's also something powerful about surviving difficult seasons. When you come out of hardship, you carry confidence that cannot be shaken easily. You know what it feels like to be tested. You know what it feels like to doubt and still move forward. That internal proof becomes unbreakable belief. And belief is fuel for greatness. Adversity strips away ego. It reminds you that growth is earned. It teaches gratitude for progress. It strengthens your mindset so that when opportunities finally arrive, you are ready, not just talented but disciplined, not just gifted but grounded. The storms you face are not there to stop you. They are there to strengthen you. The resistance you encounter is building endurance. The obstacles are shaping leadership. The delays are building patience. And one day, when you stand in a position you once prayed for, you will realize it was the adversity, not the ease, that made you capable of carrying that success with strength, humility, and power. So if this message spoke to you, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.